up, we've heard the expression abrochire or ablochi in Ebe. But of course, many of you have been wondering why it's related to those who travel abroad or overseas, as you may want to term it. Well, my colleague Kojo Yansen in our Heritage and Ghana Month series has been finding out more.
Slavery is a dark stain on Ghana's history. All along the country's coast, European colonizers built forts and castles as trading posts where they could buy slaves from local tribes and ship them off to the Caribbean islands, from where they would never return. Many of these stone edifices are still standing today, but like all historical buildings, the attraction is not the aging structure and the crumbling walls. It's the haunting stories they tell. On today's episode, we bring you perhaps the most haunting of all slave stories. Come with me to Keta in the Volta region, to the last Ghanaian fort on the way to Togo.
Welcome to Fort Prizenstien.
Under the care of the Ghana Museums and Monuments Board, Fort Prizenstien, or what is left of it, receives daily visitors from around the world. But there is something unique about the role this particular fort played in Ghana's sordid slavery story. Therefore, our colleague knows all about it.
This tool was taken from the chiefs. You know, when they came here, they sought permission from the chiefs. And when they are putting up the fort, they realized that they are converting the fort into a slave post. So our people stood against them. Toby Degeni said no, they will not allow them to continue the building. So Toby Degeni was killed. That made our people move from here to where they are now, Agbosuma. And that's why they celebrate the Keta Soma Tutuzan over there.
So the people of Agbosuma were originally here.
Exactly.
And the Danes killed the chief and sacked the people and kept the stool.
Yes, they took the stool from the palace and it has been kept over here. So that the people of Agbosuma supported the Danish governor along the coast of Keta or Denu. So he was captured. And so they make him the idol over there in the back of the Denu market. So when you go to the back of the Denu market, you see some big idol. It contained the remains of the Danish governor at that time.
So when he was captured, he never made it back here?
No,
they killed him there?
They killed him because he was the one who killed their chief.
Oh. That's fascinating.
When they buy the slaves were taken across the Atlantic. And those slaves never come back. And our people start calling those from outside, they are from Abluchi, meaning Oblo, Ovachi, meaning they have deceived them by taking them there without coming back.
Oblo,
Ovachi.
And that's where the Abluchi came from.
Yeah.
You see, that actually makes more sense than the explanation that we, the Akans, have for the word Abluchi. Where you hear people say Abronechi or whatever. This makes more sense. Oblo, Ovachi. So you deceived us and they will never return.
Exactly. And those are the chains you can see over there. We used to chain their neck, their leg in those days. And also they realized that some of our forefathers, you know, people from Togo, they have powers. They lean on the wall. They will just incastate some words and vanish. So they put mercury in between the walls.
And that stops them from doing that.
Exactly. That was the antidote at that time. So those who attempted got stuck. That's why when the sea was destroying the fort, you can see human remains in the wall of the fort. And up to today, when you are in the fort, you can hear a screaming, loud screaming. When you come here, you will not see anything. You can hear a screaming, yes. That's why we stay outside the fort. Then we will not say anything. So you have to call on the traditional authorities to come and do what they have been doing before we came here.
They chain you, they shackle you to a stranger, and you are standing in some 10 square inches of space, struggling for air, boiling under the heat, rubbing against the skins of other sweating men. The one thing that you need to sustain your life is water. And the only way to get water is when your slave masters pour it onto the ground. Then you fight your fellow 200 men to lick this off the ground, just so you can survive long enough and stay strong enough for them to illegally sell you to some white men who will make you work in their sugarcane fields for the rest of your life. You see, the reason why this thing is striking me so hard is because, look, even when you are broke to the point where you don't even have one cedi, one cowrie shell, you still own your life. You can never be so broke that you don't own your life. But somehow slave trade created a situation where even your life doesn't belong to you. And long after humanity decided that that act was too cruel to continue, here in Prizenstien, it did not stop.
I still have mixed feelings about today's adventure. It's left me with a strange feeling, one I know I'll never forget. Until fairly recently, this walk I'm taking now would still have been within the walls of the fort. Half of that fort is now lost to the sea, just like half of the slaves that set sail from here. But the whole of its history remains forever, never to be forgotten, just as my memories of today will remain with me forever.